Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. Today's video is going to be an eyeshadow palette review for October. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today's video is going to be an overview of the 10 eyeshadow palettes that I tried in October for the first time. There's a lot of Essence and Catrice here because they released a lot. So that's what the main part is, but I have a couple of other things in here as well. So let's just get to it. Before we get into the video, it may be good to know who I am and what I like to do on this channel. So hi, my name is Maaike. I live in the Netherlands. I have fair skin with a culture neutral undertone, and this greatly influences how I feel about makeup. I have been reviewing makeup for more than a decade. I love my eyeshadow palettes, Essence and Catrice, and getting the use out of my makeup. So all those three things are going to come together in today's video. So let me just get to it, and I hope you would like to consider subscribing in the meantime. So yes, 10 eyeshadow palettes. Some of them were like itty bitty small things that required just one look. Some of them were a little bit bigger, but that's why there are 10 here today, because a lot of it was like one look and I would have tried every single shade in the palette. So in case you don't know how I like to go about my eyeshadow palette reviews, I just take 5 to 10 eyeshadow palettes that I haven't tried before, that are new to me. I do looks with every single shade in the palette. I do the swatches, and I insert all of those looks and swatches in the video as well, so that you get a good idea of what these palettes have to offer. So let's just get to it, because we have 10 palettes to chat about, which is quite a lot. So the first palette I wanted to show you is the Glossier Monochrome Trio palette in the shade Mist. I picked this up when I was in London in August, and I am so very happy to see now that Glossier is shipping internationally. This happened in the past couple of weeks. They have now opened up their website for international shipping, and yes, I did place myself an order for the new Glossier foundation because I really wanted to try that. But I picked up one of their eyeshadow palettes last year in the shade Nude, which is the Taupe one, and Mist is the like grayish purpley, more mauve toned one that they do, and I couldn't decide last year between these two. I was like, I'm not gonna buy both, because if I buy both and I don't like the quality, then I'm stuck with two palettes I don't like. So I decided to try one first and then buy the other color story that was also appealing to me. So yes, Mist was very successful for me. I live for shades like this. Like, I'm wearing one of the other shadows that I haven't talked about yet on my eyes today, so this is quite intense for me, but this is what I like to wear on the daily. I did get a question the other day from someone like, do you wear things like this to work? And the answer is yes, because I'm usually trying out eyeshadow palettes like this one before I head out to work. So that's why a lot of the looks aren't the most creative, because I need to get out the door and I need to head into work. So I just try whatever eyeshadows I have lying about and then do the looks. And I don't just do them on my days off. I also wear things like this to work for sure. But yeah, this is very neutral. It's Glossier, so you know it's going to be sheer. And what I personally really enjoy about these palettes is that you get 3 finishes. You get a matte, a satin, and a metallic. And these play together really nicely. They are, of course, all in the same shade. It's essentially the same shade with 3 different textures. But that's why I like them. If you love your wash of color, you're gonna love these. They do a lot of warm toned ones. They also do like an olive green shade that's still appealing to me, but I decided to pass up on it for now because I just wanted to see how the order would go, to see if I'm hit with any custom fees or how that's gonna play out. I have no clue, because I don't know whether they're actually shipping from the European Union or not. So yeah, for now, I just bought like 2-3 little bits just to give it a try, how the order processing will go. But yeah, I definitely do want to get one more of these. I love the quality. I think it looks really stunning on, and especially this shade. I think I like this one even better than Jude, even though I love a taupe. But this is just one of the best ones. If I should have done my top 10 mauve tone video in November, so I could have included this, and especially the matte metallic mauve in here is just stunning. But I had planned it for October, so I already did it. But yeah, I would have featured this palette in that video for sure if the planning had gone like, but I hadn't tried this one yet when I sat down to film that video. So yeah, Glossier Mist is really lovely and I highly recommend this. Moving on then to Catrice. Catrice came out with 2 new eyeshadow palettes as part of their fall winter update that they came out with in August over here. I always get the question, when will this come to the US or the Philippines or whatever country people are from? And the answer is, honestly, I don't know. I don't work for the brand. I just pick up the things that I can personally get my hands on, and I just know what's around here where I live. Just check their official website. They have a pretty good presence on Instagram. And if you send them a DM on Instagram, they will usually tell you. Like, they're pretty good at answering them, at least the EU-based team is. I'm not sure if it's different for anywhere else, but definitely follow the Catrice or Essence accounts that go with your territory, and they will usually have the latest news on when new products launch. So I don't know when these are gonna come, and if they're gonna come even, I don't know. If you're not in the EU, it sometimes takes 6 months to a year for some of the products to make their way to other territories. So, and even within the European Union, it can sometimes take a little while for things to go places. So I don't know, but what they released was the Wow in a Box and the Cozy Earth. So let's chat about the Wow in a Box first. The Wow in a Box mini eyeshadow palette is the 5-pan. They are now doing, instead of the 5 in a box, they did 8 5 in a box palettes previously, and now they're doing Wow in a Box. The packaging is exactly the same. They've just changed the name on it. This was very pretty. It was a lot prettier than I had expected. Yes, it is warm toned, so you do have to bear that in mind when you are looking at this palette, but it very much reminded me, the way the look came together, of what I get out of the mini Zendo. Does it have exactly the same shades as the mini Zendo? Do I think it's a dupe? Not at all. But if you want that sort of peachy vibe with like a cooler tone brown, I think it can work. It's especially different because of this shimmer here, this more like bronzy gold. That's what we don't get in the Zendo. If it had more of that like greenish gray base that the Zendo has, then this could have been a pretty good dupe for it. I really enjoy this peach shimmer. It is very sort of dimensional and more of a duochrome. The matte peach in here was absolutely lovely. And also this gold has a bit of a peachy pink flip, making it a little bit more special. And it's not something that you see if you look at this in the pan. So as someone who doesn't necessarily love warm tones, like I like a warm tone from time to time, don't get me wrong, but this was very successful. I think the quality is nice. Will I ever go back to this color story? I don't think so, because even though I really like the quality of this, I don't feel this is perfect. But how, like, if I want to go for a peachy pink sort of vibe with a cooler tone brown, I have it. It is really nice quality, and I'll keep it around so I can always reference it in my makeup collection for sure. But yeah, if you love a peach on you, I think this is especially stunning for people with blue eyes, because these kind of shades are really going to make your blue eyes pop, because peachy orange against blue, those are opposites on the colors, on the color wheel, so it's going to emphasize and make your eyes look even more blue toned than they already are. So I think this can be stunning for people with blue eyes. Then the Cozy Earth, and this was okay. I liked it well enough, but like the other ones in this line, this is the 5th palette Catrice has done that looks similar to this. I tried all 4 of the other ones in the video last year, so I'll make sure to link that video down below if you want to see how I feel about the Dusty Mattes and the Pure Nude and the Mocha, and there was a 4th one. I don't remember what it was called, like Rose something, I think. And the Cozy Earth one is the more green toned one, which is okay. The greens in here are really nicely cool toned, but we essentially only get 2 greens. And everything else here is like a warmer tone neutral. We get a really nice neutral in here, but I'm not sure if you can see. Do you see that really dark patch in the matte green? I had that issue with the Dusty Mattes as well. It's like when you start putting brushes and fingers in, these kind of discolor. And I don't like that. To me, that just shows that this isn't like the highest quality makeup. I mean, I've been swatching eyeshadow for more than a decade. I know how shadows usually react to sticking my clean finger in there and having it work, but this kind of discolors, which I think just looks really gross really quickly. And the dusty mattes had it really badly as well, the like pinky tone that it has. Is this stunning? Was it easy to work with? Yet, yes. This has quite a bit of kick up, so I think I prefer the quality of the Wow in a Box over this one for sure. If you're looking for a neutral tone color story with a bit of a cooler tone green, I think this can be pretty. It is gonna give you the look, and it's really not that expensive of an eyeshadow palette. So for how expensive it is and what this actually does, it is nice quality, but I just wish that the colors in the pan wouldn't have the discoloration of after just a couple of uses, because let's be real here. I've swatched this, I've used it twice to do looks for this video, and I think I used some of these shades as well in the first impression video. So this has had under 5 uses and I'm already seeing this level of discoloration. I don't think that really attests to being this being good quality makeup, so I would not recommend this necessarily. Next up is Rival Hurts Me. This is a German drugstore brand, and I picked up this palette when I visited Germany in the summertime. I went to Oberhausen for a day, and I found this at Rossmann, I think it's called. That's a German drugstore for sure, and this is the Out of Space. I only did one look with this palette just to be fully transparent, because this I knew wasn't going to be like my favorite formula. I've tried 2 of these in the past, the Jungle and the Smoke. Those were sent to me by one of my lovely subscribers who lives in Germany, and these are super cheap. I'm calling, like, this is €5 at the German drugstore, and I just thought this purple color story looked really, really pretty. It's very stunning. If you want just cheap makeup because you just don't have the budget to be spending a lot of money on makeup and you just want the look for less, I think that these Rival palettes are actually quite decent quality for how much you pay. I mean, you get 18 shades for €5. So what do we then expect? I'm not gonna expect this to be like Natasha Denona level of eyeshadow quality, which is one of my favorites. In terms of like eyeshadow quality, Natasha Denona is up there for me. But this was stunning. Is it very powdery? Does it have a lot of kick up? Yes, you really have to make sure you tap off your brush when you're using it. But ultimately, my main issue with it was that when I was creating the look, I really struggled finding shades that could go together. I started the look off with this like mauve tone, but there isn't anything that gray toned other than these very light shades, which was a bit of a mess. This looks like it's going to be gray toned, but it turned very blue once on the eyes. So that was a bit of a bummer. I do like the addition of the actual blues that we get in here. This dark shade was really nice as a liner. It has a couple of really stunning shades, and that's how I felt with the Jungle and Smoke palettes that I've tried previously as well. It has a couple of really stunning shades, but for an 18 pan, I think I want there to be more shades that I could happily see myself using over and over again. But I think that this is very budget friendly, and if this is something that you were looking into, I think that for the €5 price point this goes for, these really aren't like, they're not bad at all. Like, they're not bad shadow. It's just for €5, I'd rather buy a more curated 5-pan from Catrice, because this retails for around the same time, and know that every single shade in it is going to work for me. Whereas with this, it's sort of like, out of the 18 shades, you're going to get like 5 that will do absolutely nothing and that are going to be a chalky mess. And finding those and trying everything, that might take a while, but yeah, you do get 18 shades. And I think that, you know, beggars can't always be choosers. And if that's you and that's how you feel about makeup, I think this can be lovely. So I don't want to just dismiss this because it has a chalky formula that is very powdery. These blended perfectly. I think the look I ended up doing with this palette turned out really nicely. The shimmers do need a bit of building up. You may want to wet them or use a finger to get them to full intensity, but they don't blend away into nothing. They actually perform really well, and it also doesn't like disappear into nothing on the eyes, which to me, that just goes to show that it's pretty decent makeup for sure, and at this price point, I don't think you can beat it. And sadly, the more affordable thing that I was a little bit disappointed with were the two MUA palettes that I picked up in London in August when I was there. So these plastic, I think they're £4 from Superdrug. I saw these and I was like, right, those I want to try. So I bought Andromeda Skies and Enchantment. And I've tried both of them, and they are stunning when they first go on. These eyeshadows are incredible. Like, for how much you pay and the color stories they have on offer, because they had a bunch of warm tones as well, like, it's a really good shade selection, and these cool tones were just lovely. This is a little bit deeper, but I felt that for how deep it looks in the pan, it sheared out beautifully once on the lids, and I was able to make it work really, really well. The shimmers in here are where it goes wrong. Not with the initial application. The initial application is stunning. The way these shimmers feel, it very much reminds me of the shimmers in a Patrick Ta Major Dimension palette. You know, that top row of shimmers that you get in the Major Dimension 1 and 2? This very thick, creamy, best applied with fingers kind of formula, which I'm not a huge fan of. I have to be quite fair, because I just feel that these are very difficult to pick up with a brush. Like, when you stick your brush in, you kind of move the shadow around and your brush is not capable of picking it up, so you need a finger to make them work. However, I kind of knew that going into it, so I wasn't super sad about those doing it. The disappointment came from how these wore on my eyes. The shimmers just vanished throughout the day. Like, at the end of the workday, it didn't crease. There was no creasing, but it was like, where did that shimmer shade go? Because it had just completely dissolved after a few hours of wear. Which, again, for how much these cost, do I really mind it? No. Does this look stunning on? Do these swatch beautifully? Do the mattes perform really well? Yes. But the shimmers, like, there was no fallout, like, it didn't trickle down my face. It was just as if, poof, they had just disappeared into thin air. So, as lovely as these are, I'm definitely going to be keeping these around because these color stories are right up my street. I love everything about it. Save for the fact that if you wear these beyond the 4-hour mark, they're just not gonna stay. Even if you double prime your lids like I do, and I normally don't have any issues with creasing or disappearing eyeshadows because I double prime my lids, but these, they just don't stay put. And it's not, like, I don't know how to make these last longer. Maybe with a glitter primer, that's the one thing I haven't really tried, but it's not as if the sparkle just disappears. Like, the entire shade just vanishes into thin air after a couple of hours, which, I don't know. I haven't tried an eyeshadow in a while that does that. Like, it very much takes me back to, like, Maybelline eyeshadow from like the 2010s, because they used to do that as well. But yeah, I can fault them because of the color stories. Those are gorgeous. The price point is pretty decent. And I think that because they're small enough, you could technically like put these in your work bag, and like around lunchtime, you can take a little bit on your finger again and reapply it just fine. I mean, you could do that if you'd like to. but it's not the long-lasting eyeshadow that I know drugstore brands can do, and that's the only downside here. But I did really love the way the looks came together and the way it looked on the eyes and the way it applied, and everything about those MUA palettes is absolutely stunning, save for the wear time. And finally, we have Essence, and I'm wearing one of these palettes on my eyes today because I could not wear this in the video. Let's just start with the things I liked the least, and that were the two baby palettes they're doing. They already did two more, like a warmer and a cool tone neutral one that I tried last year, but now they're doing like a green tone one and a more spicy orangey one. So protect your energy and trust your intuition. Again, I don't love these, and I didn't expect to love these, but these are decent eyeshadow palettes if this is what you're looking for. If you're looking for something small to travel with, I think these can be really nice. The Protect Your Energy looks like this. And as you can see, it's a little bit more spicy. We get this orange in here, but it's 6 shades. We get 2 mattes here. This top one is a perfect crease shade. Really like it. The darker brown is nice for deepening things up. Then you get your spicy orange, and the other 3 shades are shimmers. I can't fault it. It's got some really nice things. This just isn't the best eyeshadow that Essence has ever done. It's okay. It's all right. It didn't blow me away. It wore pretty well throughout the day. It didn't disappear. These don't have a lot of fallout, but I'm just not wowed by this. Like, as much eyeshadow as I already have in my makeup collection, this is not something I needed. So if I wasn't someone who tried as much Essence and Catrice as I possibly can as a human being, I don't think I would have bought this because I really didn't need it. But yeah, this can be nice for some people. I can definitely see merit in a palette like this, but I didn't need it. The Trust Your Intuition is a little bit more green toned, but here again, you can see, like with the Catrice one, we essentially get warm tone neutrals to go with it. And I feel that especially these 2 shades could have been in the other palette as well. So I was like, so again, a crease shade. The dark green is lovely. It looks really stunning. You get 2 cooler tone greens here as well to round out the palette. It works really well. If you're looking for a neutral palette with that cooler tone green, I think I still like the Catrice one better than I do this one. Just because the Catrice one has slightly better blendability, it's got a few more shades. I feel it makes for a more well-rounded look. With this, I would essentially be doing the same look all the time. I would put this in the crease, this is a liner, these 2 on the lid, and then this in the inner corner, and I would skip the orange tone next time. This time I think I just popped it on the lower lash line. But yeah, these are okay. They're decent quality. They're really not bad shadows. It's just that what they have on offer compared to everything I've already tried from the brand and everything I personally have in my makeup collection, it just didn't wow me. Then, something that I don't even know how this happened, but I completely overlooked this. This was apparently already out in the springtime. And I think what happened is that I thought that this was just another rendition of something they have already been doing for a while, because Essence had palettes like this in their line long term for years, and sometimes I try those things, but I don't always try it, because I feel that that's usually not where the brand shines. Boy, was I wrong. This is the Cool Nude edition, and I believe there are 2 more. There's a warm toned one and a neutral toned one as well. And I'm now actually thinking, like, should I do like a dedicated video to these palettes? Because this was stunning. This, oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I thought when I picked this up, I was like, I'm not really sure. I was like, oh, I haven't tried that from Essence. Is this new? And then one of you actually pointed out, said, no, they came out with it 6 months ago, and I somehow completely missed it. When I swatched it, I wasn't too happy. I was like, it looks a bit boring. I didn't really feel it came together very well. It goes super light. You get like a random peach in there. I had hoped from looking at it online that this would be a little bit more taupe, but it's swatched very gray toned. And Then I put it on my eyes. It's one of my favorite looks I wore all month. This was stunning. And this palette is really not that expensive, but quality-wise, Essence has really outdone themselves with this one. I really, really enjoyed it. That swatch super gray toned on my skin looked almost like it has a hint of green when I popped it in the crease. And I thought that it might be too dark for the crease, but it sheared out so beautifully. It was absolutely gorgeous. You get these two like berry tones. It looks like they're berries, but this ends up being a cool tone pink, and this turns out to be like more of a plum on my skin when I use it with a brush. It was stunning. The gray I used on the lower lash line together with that silver. This peach shade ended up being a lovely shade to go with this. It was really perfect for like blending things out. The cream as well was really nice for like cleaning up the edges. This had a little bit more of a flip than I had expected, so that white shimmer worked well, and the black is dark enough to use as liner. So in the end, I used all of these shades in one look now, but I can see myself going back to this and like just doing a look with like the silver and the taupe, just doing a look with like these berry shades and that peachy tone. That can work as well. So I think this little 8 pan, it's 8, right? No, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 pan has a lot going for it. And I had completely missed it, and I don't think lots of other people have been chatting about these, because I haven't heard anybody talking about these eyeshadow palettes from Essence, but I really like this one, and now I'm very intrigued to try those other two. So maybe November, December time, I might be able to do like a dedicated video and try all the palettes that come in this layout in like one giant trial video, because I'm very impressed with what they did here. And we're ending the video on a high note because I am also very impressed with their newest travel series palette. This is the Welcome to Cape Town. I've tried every single one of these palettes that I could get my hands on. I've tried the Roma and the Marrakesh, and there were a couple of other ones, Miami, I think, with more bright colors. There are a couple of other ones in this series that are US only. There's a London palette with gray tones, I believe, that I've never been able to try. But so far, like those like intuition palettes, like with the little doors, I felt that this line was okay. It had pretty decent pigmentation, but nothing truly that wowed me or that really stood out to me. The color stories were a little bit boring and sort of overdone, like things that I feel I've seen a million times from Essence and that I've tried a million times over from other brands. And then they did this. The shades that are on the packaging is what you get inside. This is what it looks like. And I've just done 2 looks. I think I also used this palette in my first impression when I did my video trying out all the other new Essence bits. But this is what I've got on my eyes today. This is what I used. Like I mainly use the teals and the top lashes, and then I use this to complement the rest of the look, and I think it works really, really well. And this is what I've wanted from Essence for a long, long time. The other look I did was more so with this half of the palette, so I kind of just split it in half, and I used like 6 shades for 2 looks, just to be able to try everything. But it has everything you need. Will I ever go back to these warm tones on this end? Probably not, but this yellow tone gold, again, it's like the MUA palettes. It's that very creamy texture that's difficult to pick up with a brush. But with a finger, oh my word. And this peach, it's a little bit sheer, I'm not gonna lie. But as an inner corner highlight or topped over other things, it can really work. The orange worked really well as a crease shade as well. Like, it worked really well, and I think that if you were to blend it with some of this brown over here, you can make it a nice neutral. This cream shade can be really nice for blending things out and cleaning up looks, but it's essentially these 8 shades that really, really bring this palette home for me. You can do a green tone look with it, you can do a cool tone neutral look with it, you can do a teal look with it. It has everything you need. And that's a thing for me that was missing from these Essence palettes a lot, where I just felt like I could do like 1 or 2 okay looks and then I was done. But with this, I'm itching to go back to it because I want to put that taupe shade all over my lid. It's just on the like inner third right now and a bit on the lower lash line because that's the only lid space I still had left. But it works so well. And this is a little bit sheer and disappointing, I'm not gonna lie, but that teal right next to it is what's in the outer V, and then I just use this to really blend it out and to complete the teal look. The teal shimmer is stunning. The browns in here are stunning. The mattes work really well. Essence, where have you been? It's like they've finally woken up and they're doing really good eyeshadow in their regular range that it's not a limited edition. So far, I've only ever tried like a limited edition palette from Essence that blew me away. But this blew my socks off, like from the first swatch. And I have not had that experience with Essence eyeshadow in a while. So if you want my opinion, I think the Cape Town palette from Essence is absolutely stunning. If you get just one thing from the new launch from Essence, get this. It's fall. It's a fall tone color story that's perfect for this time of year. And you can just work with this in so many ways. So many ways. You can go super neutral and basic. You can go super glam. You can go colorful, you can go neutral, you can go cool tone, you can go warm toned, you can clash the warm tones with the teals. Like, that's not something I've tried even. Like, clashing the orange with the teals. How stunning would that be? The teals with the gold. Oh my word. Like, I can just see so many options, and I love it if I can find an affordable eyeshadow palette that can easily see me doing like 10 different looks. And that's what this does. That's what this does. So Essence, great job. If you get just one thing from the collection, as I've said, get this one because it's stunning. And that's it. Those are the 10 eyeshadow palettes that I tried in October. I'm definitely going to try like fewer ones in November because with this many palettes, it can be a struggle to do something that I also like to do, which is to go back to eyeshadow palettes that I know I love. So that's definitely a video that is still coming up, so stay tuned for that. And then I hope to see you in my next video very, very soon. Of course, I'll be trying some more eyeshadow palettes because it's one of my favorite things to try. So I do one of these videos every single month, so if you'd like to stay tuned for more, and then I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, everybody. Have a good day. Bye-bye.